So, hey, Pretentious Engineer here. I know you didn't ask, but you're ready to find your next. So, you've decided your life's not replaceable and you're moving forward with your strategic exit. And I wanted to provide an assessment to you so that you could actually baseline exactly where you are today so you know how to move forward. And the cool thing about this assessment is that we're going to post it in the community and use it to track your progress over the coming weeks, months, or years as you continue to move towards what you're passionate about. It allows the whole community to wrap around you in the journey. It's going to be really cool. So stick with me and we're going to jump in. Let me change my screens. Magic button. Success. Okay. So on this post, we're on 4.1, Find Your Next. I've built a waitlist for my paid communities, but it also contains an assessment for you. So we're just going to jump into this, but the outcome is going to give you this radar chart that kind of shows where you may have some pain points or deficiencies in your current career and what you could progress towards, where you'll feel like you have a greater sense of clarity in where you're going. You have a bounded pathway or journey to follow, and it's communal. You have people around you. So let's jump into this waitlist. I'll click right here, which would open this. I would encourage you to watch this video. The beginning will feel the same as the About page when you learned about the Big Brain Club Lite, but the back end explains the 3 different communities that I have nested. There's a free community, there's a low ticket paid community, and there's a high ticket paid community with more one-on-one access. And one of those may be of value to you, so just watch it, navigate it, and see if it's helpful. So from here, you can click join the school waitlist right away. If you want to scroll and read through all this, it might provide greater context beyond the video, if that's fun for you. This is also pulled together for like external leads or people that don't know anything about the Big Brain Club. So let's just join the school waitlist. It's going to ask for your name. So we'll put Joseph Isosaki. You can put your email address. I'm going to make one up, so we'll call it Pretentious Engineer is so cool at gmail.com. Industry, you can scroll around and try to find where you are in engineering. So let's see if they have mechanical. Let's see. They probably won't have mechatronics, which is more where I'm at. Media, medical. Ooh, medical products. Let's do mining. Let's say I'm a metallurgical engineer in the mining industry. That'd be cool. Years of experience 10. And country, I'm going to say Japan because it's fun, even though I'm in the US. So I will use this information to be able to kind of track your results with your email. I won't share it with other people for the whole privacy disclaimer. You may end up getting my email newsletter from this. If you don't like it, there's an unsubscribe button. So just for transparency. Let's jump in and see what the assessment looks like. It's super quick. So first of all, thank you for joining the waitlist. As a token of my gratitude, hey, here's an AI image of a prompt Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man plus sumo wrestler. This is from when my wife was looking at starting a marshmallow business, and we're trying to find like different logos. So I was playing around with the image generator in Canva. So go ahead and click continue. So first one, on a continuum from undefined to bounded, how does your career feel right now? And I talked to this in the description in the waitlist before we got into the actual assessment. So do you feel like you don't really know like all the pieces of your career? Do you feel like you have a really bounded problem space so that you can solve and kind of jump to the next step in your career? So I'm going to say I'm feeling like a nice 6, kind of waffly. And just be honest, right? On a continuum of disorienting to clarity, how does your career feel right now? Well, for me, actually, I should do this kind of honestly. Can I go back? Let's go back. So for me, I actually feel very bounded. Like I know exactly what I'm building, why I'm building it. I've failed twice as an entrepreneur. I know what I'm moving towards with my job. I know what I want. So for me, I feel like I have the pieces, and now it's just execution and timing. And then we'll see where life fits in the messy middle. From a continuum of disorienting to clarity, where do we feel? My clarity is pretty high, but there are still some aspects of how I integrate fatherhood, a day job, and entrepreneurship that are messy. Like I have an interview on Thursday, which is very promising. But then I have to figure out, well, what's the execution look like if I land that job? And then I'm doing all 3. So I'm going to say we're at like a 7. On a continuum of isolating to communal, how does your career feel right now? This one's super hard to answer. Within the school games community, I have a lot of people that I'm kind of connected with that are helping push me forward. I'm also part of Calvin Hollywood's community leadership community, which has really been making things feel like I have a group together. And the Big Brain Club is starting to open up little by little. So that feels communal. but I don't have it within the traditional workplace. So I'm going to give myself like an 8. All right, now we're getting into free response, and I'm just going to journal this authentically. So as we find our way, the journey naturally traverses hills and valleys. Help me understand one of your most recent valleys and how you navigated it. So this is kind of like, I want you to remember a pain point or something tricky where things weren't perfectly integrated in your life and what you did to navigate it, whether what you did was like perfectly optimal or messy. So for me, when faced with a decision between progressing my career in J&J after a decade of service or serving the needs of my family by providing stability in Japan, I made the challenging decision. I can never spell decision. To make a strategic exit from J&J and go all in on Tokyo entrepreneurship. Very messy. I mean, you know this story from what we've already navigated in the course thus far, and I share a lot more of it in the next 6 courses or the 6 modules in the free version. All right, so that would be like a good example of like what I did. Next one. Now imagine that in the coming months we're celebrating the hilltop view, like a mountaintop. Like you get through it and you could see that you found your next. Help me understand what we see and why the view is so meaningful to you. I find a way to be present as a father, impactful as a global MedTech entrepreneur, and capable, that's a good word, of building a thriving business. It's capable, right click, ideally, I'm also able to find leverage on my time and finances so I can split live between Chicago, I'm just going to note like family, and Tokyo. Basically, build the life I desire. Okay, cool. So again, you can kind of expand upon this because I want to give you a little bit of space for light to deep processing. And again, I'll get all these results. So it helps me understand kind of the arc of like the valleys you've been in, where you're trying to go, how I could help, eventually how members of the community can help once we get to your post, which is coming up soon. So that's one answer. The last piece, this is a little bit salesy, so I'll just share it transparently. Like I'm building 2 communities. The Big Brain Club Pro is going to be focused on kind of a repository of everything I've learned thus far in engineering, global leadership, and entrepreneurship, as well as a community that helps you pursue your next best opportunity. That said, it doesn't kick you out of the free. Like your journey will still be tracked through the free community, but if you want to lift and go farther, there is a paid community offering for that. One-on-one with the Pretentious Engineer will have a semi-annual enrollment, which means 2 times per year, I'll actually bring a cohort of people together. And I want to take a small group of people very far in their journey, whether they're trying to get their business off the ground, whether they want to transition from engineering into global leadership and finding a global role. This is very personalized. So I'm doing enrollment either quarterly or semi-annually to get people moving forward. That's light context. You could have just read the words, but I'm explaining it. And so read through all that, continue. And then there's price points for each of these communities, whether you do monthly or annual based on the value I provide. And hopefully I provide exceptionally more value than the cost to you. So if you care about these results in these spaces, this is available and you could then join the waitlist for any of them. Again, the purpose of this video is just to get you the data. I'm letting you know this is the data plus the waitlist. Okay, so let's say right now I'm content with the Big Brain Club Lite. I'm not interested in these paid communities. I don't want to do any of it. It's terrible. Get away from me, Joe. Okay, so let me get my free results. That's how it is. All right. So this is the cool little chart we want. So congrats on joining the Big Brain Club. Here's how you scored. So it'll show you on these 3 quadrants if you're looking good or if you're struggling in some capacity. So it just gives you a picture, because I've already had different people do this assessment and I manually created charts before I had this tool for you. And it was really helpful for me to see, like, wow, everyone's at 2s, or wow, this person's at 10s, but they want to go even farther. So it's really helpful for you to be able to see it yourself, but also for the community to see it so they can figure out how to help. And also from the DM perspective, so people know how to like connect with you and figure, hey, how'd you get there? How do I get there, right? And then there'll be a video that gives you some next steps. I'm like, hey, join the free community. So you click here, join the free community, which you're already in it. You could subscribe to my newsletter where I curate even more content for engineers, and then bring a friend. So what you need to do, though, let's go back to the sheet. Don't close this window. Don't do it. Is after we have navigated the waitlist, we need to grab a screenshot of this to save our radar. Now, if you're a Mac user, you've made a mistake. I don't know why you're not a PC. If you're an engineer, feel free to light me up in the comments. But what we want to do is get a nice screenshot. So I'm going to show you a hotkey that changed my life. And you want to get it as close to a square as possible because it just looks more aesthetic in school. You're going to hold Shift, Windows, and S. And then you'll get this little crosshair, and you could just click and drag. This is the magic. Get a nice little square right there. Perfect. Let go. Now it's copied. So then what we want to do is just go to school, go over to the community, and this is going to be for some of you your first post, assuming you've made it to level 3 by having high value added comments. We won't go through all that right now. So write something, and all right, let's follow our instructions. So step 1, title, write your name. Title, Joseph Isosaki. Step 2, category, find your next. So down here, there'll be a select your category. You're allowed to post and find your next, which is lets us track each individual's progress towards finding their next. So this is the use space of the community. Step 3, so we're making a post right now. Control V your radar chart. So if we go and click on the write something, click one time and then do Control V, it'll turn it into a picture. It's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to download it and re-upload it. Just Control V it and boom. People can click and see your radar. Now the next part, copy and paste the following. So I'm going to copy this. Actually, we'll delete the last part. Copy it. Oh, it doesn't bring in the... All right. And format it, return. Make it look pretty, friends. Sorry, I didn't know. Desired future state. I'm missing one. Origin, desired future state, fears. We need a Y. Okay. And actually, we didn't need these bottom 2. Hi, little miss. Hi, Emiko. I love you. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, if you want to be really particular, can you make this bold? No, we can't bold it. Okay. So origin. So I want you to describe your current state reflecting on the value you may have been on. So that first free response, if you're proactive, you could just copy and paste it, but you're probably passive, so you can't now. But just share like your current state. So for me, just moved to Chicago. After my all-in entrepreneurial ventures in Japan failed. I'm currently looking for a global MedTech leadership role with benefits. So I can provide financial stability to my family. I've also built, because this is looking at today, I've also built a free community on school and am hopeful that I can progress my paid communities in a scalable way to provide additional value and financial freedom. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you can always edit this post later. All right. So desired future state. What do the hilltop view look like? Like clarity, bounded. So on those assessments, like, do you want more clarity in your career? Do you want more community? You can even talk very transparently about base comp, location, type of work, etc. So like, I'll talk transparently about it. So for the MedTech role, targeting base comp. Now let's say 230K. It's USD. Working remote, so I can still take care of baby Akio and Emiko because she's 3 years old. With global innovation influence, ideally working between startups, VC, and strategics. Strategics are like Johnson & Johnson, big players that buy companies. And I'll just add to it. For school, I'm hoping to build a thriving free community of around 5,000 folks and hit 40K MRR on my 2 paid communities in the years as things scale. So like, ideally, I'd like to have a full team that's engaging these communities and that I can scale it little by little. I know 40K MMR might seem like a radical, crazy number to some of you. From what I've understood on these platforms and how to build them, as well as content creation over the last 5 years, like, these numbers are very feasible to build towards strategically. And I share them in transparency because I do hope to build a thriving business that has team members that get paid equitably for their work as well, and allows me to live a really interesting life between Tokyo and Chicago and provide experiences to my family and extended family, such as my grandparents. So that's the vision. You know, I won't expand on it too much. Why do I want this life? I genuinely want to provide for my children, my wife, my in-laws, and break free of paycheck to paycheck from a vocational perspective. My ikigai is very centered on coaching. I'm going to say on unlocking the potential of others, as well as progressing innovation that heals on a global scale. Like, I'm spanning 2 different contexts. Like, business is progressing one way towards healing at large large groups of people through medical innovation. But then also, like, I really feel a sense of purpose with everything I've crafted for this community and where I could take these other paid communities down the road. So like, I'm in the tension of like, why can't I have both? Why can't I lead this interesting life? Especially if I eventually create the right financial vehicle that I could delegate pieces. I'd love to believe that I could actually direct innovation, be present as a father, and build a business that unleashes the potential of global innovators. Like, it's just fun. That's my why. Fears? I'm just going to keep it very simple. Order of operations. Operations, patience, building for long-term horizon. Burnout is always something with entrepreneurship. Burnout. I'm just gonna add it on. You know, whatever else crazy that God wants me to do. So I mean, we ended up in Japan through a faith context multiple times, through industry and through service, and then going broke in Japan is just another wild thing that like landed us missionally in our home in Chicago right now. So like, if life's been this crazy up to the age 32, I can't imagine where we'll go. Don't play with glass, cheeky baby. Oh my goodness. You rock, Akio. Good man. All right. So those are my fears. There's my chart. If you want to throw a selfie in here for fun, you can, so that people could see your face more than your profile. You don't have to. You know, let me throw in a big brain here, just because I want to post the brain that I aspire to. So let's go to our picture. Oh, geez. Please don't break glass. Please don't break glass. I just want to finish this so you can all go to school. Don't break the glass. Level unlocks. Someday, maybe I shall unlock the cyborg brain, but that's a bit too pretentious for me. Let's just do the wizard. Level 7's a hard climb. Buddy, why are we throwing bowls, dude? All right, and then you post it. Spelling's good. In-laws could be better. All right, so then let's go to step 4. So it's been posted. And now people can comment on it. So let's expand upon this. So if we go to our instruction, step 4, anytime you have an update, questions, incremental win, something works in the right direction. It's crazy. Something works in the right direction. You run into an obstacle, a challenge, things aren't working the way you intend. What's great is you can just comment on it and put a timestamp so people understand like what's going on. Eventually, if the timestamp becomes too tedious, like if there's a lot of chatter on it, don't worry about it. But if it's huge milestones, like my timestamp, I'll future it. You're not allowed to do that. 2025 dash February dash the 6th interview with with LSI Global Director for Tivity. So that's the first director interview I've landed after all my virtual portfolio work and everything else, which you might not know about. So then I can post the results of it after the interview if I get the job or not. So that's a big one. So comment that. So this kind of becomes, I think I wrote it here, like the goal of this is for this to become a living testimonial that holds you accountable to building the life you desire, that you could see where you were, where you're trying to go, what you were afraid of, why you want to do it, and you see momentum and progress, and everyone in the community can see it, which means that you're going to win because people are going to actually be able to quickly check on your next when they make a connection, be like, what's this guy want? What's this lady want? Where are they moving? Where have they been? Wow. Like that's what we want, is that this becomes a ray of hope to everyone in the community. There's an energy in it and we could all find our way together. And this is why we wait until level 3 to unlock posting, because I want you to know how to engage well in the comments. I want you to know how to connect well through the DMs, and then have this post to track your journey over time and for everyone to just kind of jump on and push you forward. Because the goal is like, you could easily just go back into that same assessment in 6 months or in 3 months when something's worked out well, retake the questions and post your result. That'll be so cool. That'll be so cool. And for people that were like, hey, I was making 22K a year and I was able to upskill into a software dev role. I'm making $86K a year. I could provide these experiences for my family. I'm paying down student debt. Like, I want people to get these kinds of wins because I really believe you're all worth it. So that's the assignment. That's the long-term plan of how you find your next. And if you keep showing up every day and doing the reps, you're going to get what you want. So with that, feel free to enjoy the next stages after the Find Your Next section. We still have a lot of journey left in the free community to go through. And again, the free community, even though I'll have the paid communities, will remain a hub. So my goal is for the testimonials to always stay in the free community so people can see what you're doing. Lingering thought here. You can just make the title your name. If I were to edit it, maybe if you have something creative you want to do, this is me just spitballing dash, integrating fatherhood, entrepreneur. I'll just keep it simple, fatherhood, and if I could spell, fatherhood and entrepreneurship. Like if you want to kind of brand where you're going or what your next looks like, you can give it a title. That might actually be really helpful for people as well, for context. All right, keep changing the world. That's all I got. And love you all. You're amazing. You can sip on that.